Jamie held the kitten close, her fur pressed against his cheek, both of them shivering as cold crept beneath the bench. His knees ached, tucked up to his chest, but he didn't dare move. Above them, the streetlights flickered, casting shaky shadows across the empty playground. Every now and then, a siren wailed in the distance, its echo slipping through the darkness and making Jamie's heart race. He pulled the kitten tighter under his jacket. Her tiny body trembled so much he could feel it in his bones. It's... Okay, Jamie whispered, his lips brushing her ear. I won't let anything happen to you. Promise. The kitten blinked up at him with round, scared eyes. She didn't have a name yet. Jamie was too tired to think of one, but in this moment, all that mattered was keeping her warm. He wiped a smudge of dirt from her nose, wishing he had something. Better to offer than his own warmth. Above, the wind rattled the metal swings. Jamie's stomach grumbled, but he ignored it. Hunger was normal by now, just like the ache in his arms. I know you're hungry too, he said softly. If I could get you something, I would. A car rolled by, headlights sweeping the playground, and Jamie froze. His breath caught as he listened for voices, footsteps, anything. Nothing happened. The car passed. Still, his muscles stayed tense. He'd learned to be ready for anything. Bad things always happened when you relaxed. The kitten pressed her face into Jamie's hand, kneading his jacket with sharp, tiny claws. He winced but smiled. Hey, careful, he whispered. That tickles. The smallest laugh escaped him, and for a second he forgot how scared he was. But then he heard voices, far away but getting closer. Jamie shrank back, barely breathing. The kitten mewed quietly, and he hushed her, heart pounding. If someone found them, what would they do? He thought of home, the yelling, the doors slamming, the way everyone looked through him. No, he couldn't. Go back there. Not ever. I won't let them take you, Jamie whispered to the kitten. We'll stick together, no matter what. The kitten licked his finger, her tongue scratchy and warm. It was the first comfort he'd felt in days. He remembered how he'd found her that morning, alone behind the garbage cans near the old bakery. Her cries had been so soft, so desperate, he couldn't walk away. Now here they were, both cast, out and hiding from the world. Jamie wondered if she missed her family too. A gust of wind made the bench creak. Jamie shivered and tucked the kitten under his shirt. Just a little longer, he said. We'll wait till morning, and maybe we'll figure out what to do. But morning felt like forever away. Jamie's eyelids grew heavy, but every time he drifted, some new sound jolted him awake, the wind, a dog barking, another car. He thought about food, but there was nothing in his pockets except a torn piece of candy wrapper and an old penny. He glanced at the playground, remembering happier days. Swings, laughter, games he used to play before things went bad at home. The kitten sneezed, startling him. Jamie pressed a finger to his lips. It's just us, he whispered. We have to be quiet. They can't know we're here. The cold made his teeth chatter. His hands were numb. He wondered if his mom was worried, but then he remembered. The look on her face the last time he saw her tired, lost, like she didn't know him at all. Maybe she was glad he was gone. Jamie hugged the kitten tighter, blinking back tears. He wished he could be strong, like the heroes in movies. But right now, all he could do was survive, just for tonight. The kitten purred softly, her tiny chest, rising and falling. It was the bravest sound Jamie had ever heard. Don't be scared, he whispered, as much for himself as for her. We'll make it through, just you and me. The minutes crawled by. Jamie tried to keep awake, whispering stories to the kitten made-up tales about brave cats who found their way home, about little boys who weren't afraid. The kitten listened, her green eyes watching him as if she understood every word. Somewhere nearby, Glass broke. Jamie jerked, clutching the kitten so hard she squeaked. "Sorry," he whispered. I just don't want anything bad to happen." His body ached with exhaustion. The sirens came and went. The wind got colder. Still, Jamie didn't move. He couldn't risk it. Every noise was a threat, every shadow a reason to hold the kitten tighter. He remembered what his dad used to say, "Boys don't cry." But Jamie couldn't help it. The tears came, hot and silent, running down his cheeks as he hid beneath the bench. The kitten licked his hand again, her warmth reminding him he wasn't completely alone. "Someday," Jamie promised her, "we'll have a real home. Just wait. I won't leave you, I swear." He squeezed his eyes shut, wishing for a different life, a warm bed, a full meal, a family who smiled. But all he had was this moment under the bench, with a kitten and a promise. That was enough for tonight. Jamie stayed awake as long as he could, but the weight of the night pressed down on him. The playground had always seemed big during the day. Now, under the bench, it felt endless and empty. Every sound became sharper in the dark. The swings clinked against their chains, tree branches scraped together, and sometimes, far away, a dog barked. Jamie flinched at each new noise, afraid someone was coming for them. He listened, barely breathing. That's when he heard its slow, careful footsteps crunching through the grass. Jamie's heart hammered in his chest. He clutched the kitten tighter, her small body stiff with fear. "Don't move," Jamie whispered, voice shaking. The kitten pressed against him, silent now, as if she understood. The footsteps paused. Jamie squeezed his eyes shut, trying to make himself smaller. He could see boots through the crack beneath the bench. For a second, he thought it was his dad come to drag him home. But the boots moved on, their sound fading into the night. Jamie's breath caught in his throat, and for a long time he didn't move. The kitten mewed softly. Jamie brushed his hand over her fur. "It's okay," he whispered. "They're gone." His words were shaky, but he wanted to sound brave for her. The fear still pressed heavy on his chest, but her gentle purr slowly calmed him. He looked at her in the darkness. "You need a name," Jamie said. "What about Whiskers?" The kitten tilted her head, as if thinking it over. Jamie smiled, the first real smile in days. "Yeah, Whiskers. You're not just any kitten, you're my friend now." Whiskers purred louder, and for a moment Jamie forgot about being cold and hungry. He thought of how he'd found her that morning, alone and shaking. He hadn't planned to run away, not at first. But after hearing his parents fight again, after seeing his dad slam the door and his mom cry, Jamie felt like he was fading away. He remembered sneaking out, shoes barely tied, heart pounding. He just wanted quiet. He wanted somewhere no one could yell at him. Behind the bakery, he saw Whiskers, lost and crying. "We're the same," Jamie whispered, running his finger gently over her ear. "Both left behind." A car drove by, headlights sweeping over the playground. Jamie ducked lower, heart pounding. The light disappeared, but he couldn't relax. "I wish I could give you more," he told Whiskers. "Food, a warm place. Something better than this stupid bench." He wondered if his mom was looking for him. Maybe she cared, deep down. But then he remembered all the times she looked past him, tired eyes fixed on the floor, and he wasn't sure. Jamie squeezed his eyes shut, not wanting to remember the shouting, the broken plates, the way his dad's voice turned sharp and mean. He wished he could turn invisible. He wished he could just keep walking forever, Whiskers in his arms, never having to face home again. "If we're quiet, they won't find us," he whispered. "We just have to be quiet." Whiskers kneaded his chest with her paws. Jamie winced. But he didn't mind. "You're tough, aren't you?" he said, forcing a weak laugh. "We're both tough." He tried to sound sure, but the truth was, he felt like he might break. He listened for more footsteps, counting seconds between. Sounds. Each one felt like forever. Jamie remembered happier times, before his dad lost his job, before the house grew colder, before everyone started fighting. He missed Saturday mornings, pancakes, cartoons, his mom humming as she made breakfast. He missed being a kid who didn't have to hide. A sudden clang made Jamie jump. He pressed his hand over Whiskers' mouth, hoping no one heard her squeak. The sound faded, just an empty can rolling in the wind. Jamie let out a slow breath. "See?" he whispered. "We're okay. We just have to wait. Morning will come soon." But the night dragged on. His legs cramped. His head throbbed. Still. Jamie refused to move. He couldn't risk it. He thought about the last words his dad had yelled, "You're nothing but trouble," and the slam of the front door that seemed to shake the whole house. Jamie knew he wasn't the reason they fought, but sometimes it felt like he was the only thing left to blame. "I'm sorry," he whispered, tears in his eyes. "I wish I could be better. For you." For her. He stroked Whiskers' head, hoping. She couldn't see how scared he was. Whiskers stretched and curled against his side. Her tiny breaths were steady, like she trusted him completely. Jamie felt something shift inside him, a quiet promise. He might not be able to fix everything, but he could protect her. "We're a team now," he said, his voice stronger. "I won't leave you. Ever." Far away, the sky started to lighten. Jamie saw the first hints of gray. He felt hope, small and shaky, but real. Maybe, if they were careful, they could make it through one more day. Maybe tomorrow would be different. If you feel connected to this story, please like, share, and let me know your city or country below. As the world slowly woke up around them, Jamie whispered, "We just have to keep going, Whiskers. I'll figure it out." Whiskers purred, and for the first time all night, Jamie felt like maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. The sky was beginning to pale when Jamie heard footsteps again, different this time. Slower, not rushing like the people who passed by after dark. Jamie's back stiffened. He wrapped his arms around Whiskers and pressed himself tighter against the bench leg. His breath fogged the air, his heart thudding so hard he thought it might wake the whole park. Whiskers stirred in his jacket, letting out a small squeak. Jamie barely breathed. The footsteps drew closer, crunching on gravel. Jamie dared not look, but he could see a shadow stretch across the sand-long legs, big shoes. The person was standing right by the bench. Jamie squeezed his eyes shut, hoping they wouldn't see him. For a moment, the stranger stood silent. Then, something slid onto the bench, a rustle of plastic, the sound of paper. Jamie stayed frozen. The stranger's shoes shuffled once, twice, and then moved away. Slowly, carefully, Jamie peeked out. The person was already gone, their shape blending into the morning mist. Jamie waited, counting to 20, before crawling forward just enough to see what had been left behind. On the bench was a plastic bag, knotted at the top, and a folded note. He reached up, grabbed the bag, and slid back into hiding. His hand shook as he opened it. Inside was a peanut butter sandwich, a small carton of milk, and a bruised apple. Jamie stared, not believing it was real. His stomach cramped with hunger, but he hesitated. "What if it's a trick?" he whispered. To Whiskers. The kitten sniffed the bag, her nose twitching. Jamie pulled her closer. "We can't trust anyone." But the smell of food was too strong. Jamie unwrapped the sandwich, tore off a piece, and offered it to Whiskers. She snatched it, chomping eagerly. Jamie took a small bite himself. It tasted like hope, soft, salty, a little bit sweet. His hands fumbled with the note. The writing was careful, slanted letters. He read it out loud in a whisper. "If you're hungry, please eat. You're not alone. I won't tell anyone you're here." Jamie stared at the words, unsure what to feel. The paper trembled in his hands. Whiskers licked the last crumbs from his palm, purring. Jamie read the note again and again. Could he really believe it? His body felt lighter after eating. He finished the milk, letting Whiskers lap up the last drops. He glanced around, searching for the stranger, but no one was there. For the first time in days, he wasn't just empty inside, but fear still lingered. "We stay hidden," Jamie whispered. "We can't take chances." Whiskers blinked up at him, her eyes huge and trusting. Jamie tucked the note away, close to his heart. The morning grew brighter, but Jamie kept low. A jogger passed, headphones on, not noticing the boy and his kitten beneath the bench. Jamie watched the world wake up, dogs barking, cars honking, kids on bikes zipping by. He wished he could join them, just for a minute, just to forget. Whiskers curled in his lap, purring with a full belly. Jamie stroked her fur, thinking about the stranger and their kindness. Part of him wanted to believe people could be good, that someone might care if they knew the truth. But another part, the bigger part, remembered slammed doors, angry voices, being told to get out of the way. He pressed his forehead to Whiskers' head. "We're in this together," he said. "You and me against the world." She answered with a tiny mew, and Jamie almost smiled out as the playground filled with light. Jamie's mind spun with questions. Who was the stranger? Would they come back? Was it safe to hope? For now, he decided, survival mattered most. He wiped his eyes, pulling Whiskers close again. "No matter what, we don't let anyone see us," he said softly. "We can't risk it. I promised I'd keep you safe." And as the morning crowds began to fill the park, Jamie stayed hidden, his heart caught between fear and a small, fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, they weren't as invisible as they thought. Jamie stayed, hidden as the sky turned gold and the playground came alive. He listened to kids laughing, swings creaking, sneakers squeaking on the pavement. He peeked out just enough to watch the world go by, feeling invisible and small. Whiskers curled up in his lap, still sleepy from her first real meal in days. He kept his head down, but his eyes followed a group of kids playing tag. They chased each other around the jungle gym, shrieking and shouting. Jamie's heart ached to be out there, running in the sun, but he knew he couldn't risk it. Not with Whiskers. Not with the wrong people looking for him. Whiskers lifted her head, nose twitching as she watched a squirrel dart across the mulch. Jamie smiled at her. "Don't even think about it," he whispered, scratching her chin. Whiskers batted at his fingers, playful now that she wasn't hungry anymore. Suddenly, Whiskers sneezed a tiny, high-pitched sound that made Jamie's heart stop. He looked around, hoping no one heard. But one of the kids, a girl with messy braids and a bright yellow backpack, paused and looked straight at the bench. Jamie ducked, holding Whiskers close, barely breathing. The girl didn't move for a long second. Then she turned and ran back to her friends, shouting, "You're it." Jamie let out a shaky breath. Maybe she hadn't seen him. Maybe he was still safe, but he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching. He risked another glance. The girl was glancing back at the bench, eyes curious and a little sad. "Stay quiet, Whiskers," Jamie whispered. "Please." Whiskers curled deeper into his lap as if she understood. More adults showed up, parents with coffee cups, a couple of dog walkers, an old man feeding pigeons. Jamie's stomach twisted. What if someone recognized him? What if they called the police or, worse, called home? He pulled Whiskers under his jacket again and slid further back, pressing himself into the shadows. His legs hurt from crouching, but he refused to move. He kept remembering last night's note, "You're not alone." But he didn't believe it. Not yet. Time dragged on. Whiskers started to fidget, pawing at the hem of Jamie's shirt. You want to play, huh? Jamie said, forcing a smile. Sorry, not today. He wanted to make her happy, but the world felt too big, too dangerous. Out of nowhere, a red ball rolled right up to the bench and bumped Jamie's foot. He froze, heart in his throat. A voice called, "Hey, can someone throw it back?" Jamie hesitated. Should he risk it? He slowly pushed the ball with his foot, rolling it out from under the bench. He heard a gasp, and then the girl with the braids appeared, eyes wide. She knelt down, peering under the bench. "Hey," she whispered, Are you hiding?" Jamie shook his head, but his voice caught in his throat. "Go away," he said, barely above a whisper. The girl didn't move. "Is that a kitten?" she asked, her eyes lighting up. "She's so cute." Jamie's arms tightened around Whiskers. "Please don't tell," he pleaded. "We can't get caught." The girl bit her lip, then nodded. "I won't, I promise. My name's Mia." She pushed the ball back to her friends without saying anything else. For a moment, Jamie and Mia just stared at each other. Then Mia leaned closer and whispered, "Are you hungry? I have a granola bar." Jamie hesitated, his pride battling with his hunger. Finally, he nodded. Mia handed him the bar, her fingers brushing his. She smiled softly. "It's okay. I won't say anything." Jamie tore open the wrapper and broke off a piece for Whiskers. The kitten gobbled it up, purring. Jamie looked at Mia, feeling something strange, hope maybe, or just relief. "You're really brave, you know," Mia said. "Taking care of her." Jamie shook his head. "She needs me." "That's all," Mia smiled. "Well, you're doing a good job. If you need anything else, I'm here every morning." Before Jamie could answer, Mia's mom called her from across the playground. Mia scrambled up, waving. "Bye, Jamie. Bye, Kitten." Jamie watched her go, his heart pounding. He wondered if he'd made a mistake by talking to her. But when he looked at Whiskers, licking her paws, he felt a little less alone. All day, Jamie stayed hidden, listening to the noise of life above and around him. Every time someone came too close, he pulled Whiskers tighter and stayed quiet. But Mia didn't tell. She glanced over sometimes, smiling, as if to say, "I'm still here." As the sun started to set and the playground emptied, Jamie whispered to Whiskers, "Maybe not everyone's bad. Maybe there are good people too." Whiskers purred, pressing her tiny nose against Jamie's hand. Jamie smiled, his fear easing for the first time in days. Maybe, just maybe, things could get better. He closed his eyes, letting hope settle in his chest, and promised himself he'd keep Whiskers safe no matter what, even if he had to hide forever. As evening fell, Jamie's hunger gnawed at him like a dull ache that wouldn't go away. His mouth felt dry, his head heavy, and even Whiskers seemed slower, curling tight in his lap to keep warm. All day they'd survived on the granola bar Mia gave them, but now the park was empty, and the cold began to creep back in. Jamie listened to the hum of distant traffic. His thoughts spun between fear and the empty pit in his stomach. "We need food, Whiskers," he whispered, gently stroking her soft fur. The kitten nudged his fingers, her little body trembling with a hungry mew. The streetlights flickered on, one by one. Jamie hesitated under the bench, his mind racing. He'd promised himself he wouldn't leave the shadows, but hunger makes people brave or desperate. He looked down at Whiskers and took a shaky breath. "We have to try." Jamie waited until the park was completely silent. He peered out, scanning for anyone who might see him. He scooped Whiskers into his arms and slid out from under the bench, moving quickly and quietly toward the trash can near the sidewalk. He rummaged through the key bin, trying not to gag at the smells. Finally, he found half a sandwich still in its plastic wrap. He tore off the crust and offered a piece to Whiskers. She ate eagerly, licking his fingers. Jamie's stomach twisted with relief as he ate the rest, barely tasting anything but grateful. For each bite, suddenly a sound made him freeze, a soft footstep, the crunch of leaves. Jamie's whole body tensed. He pressed himself against the trash can, holding Whiskers close. From the shadows, someone stepped forward. It was Mia. She wore a hoodie pulled up over her braids and clutched a small paper bag. Her voice was barely a whisper. "You shouldn't be out here alone." Jamie backed away, eyes wide. "I had to. We were hungry." Mia set the bag down and slid it toward him. "It's okay. I brought you something." She knelt at a safe distance. "There's a sandwich and some juice. My mom always packs extra." Jamie hesitated, then grabbed the bag and peeked inside. His stomach rumbled at the smell of peanut butter and jelly. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice cracking. Mia nodded. "You don't have to tell me anything." "Jamie, but you look tired, and she looks hungry too." Jamie tore the sandwich in half, giving the first piece to Whiskers. The kitten meowed, purring against his hand. Mia watched, her eyes soft. "What's her name?" she asked. "Whiskers," Jamie answered, finally meeting Mia's gaze. "That's perfect," Mia said, a gentle smile on her face. Jamie ate slowly, savoring every bite. The juice tasted cold and sweet, like hope. Mia sat beside him in the grass, not too close, letting him feel safe. After a few minutes, Jamie found the courage to ask, "Why are you helping me?" Mia shrugged. "You looked like you needed a friend. Sometimes people need one more than they say." Jamie felt something tight in his chest loosen just a little. "People don't usually help," he admitted. "Not really." Mia glanced at Whiskers, reaching out her hand. "People are better than you think sometimes." Whiskers sniffed her fingers, then rubbed against them, purring even louder. Jamie watched, surprised by how easily the kitten trusted Mia. He realized he wanted to trust her too. For a while, they sat in silence, listening to the distant city noises and the soft rustling of trees. Jamie felt safer than he had in days. Finally, Mia stood up. "I should go before my mom notices I'm gone." "Will you be okay tonight?" Jamie nodded. "Yeah, I have Whiskers." Mia smiled, squeezing his shoulder. "You're not alone, you." "No, even if it feels like it. I'll come back tomorrow." Jamie watched her walk away, the paper bag still in his hands. He looked down at Whiskers, who was already curled up and half asleep on his lap. He whispered, "We're not alone." "Whiskers, not anymore." He tucked the kitten under his jacket, feeling her heartbeat steady against his ribs. The park felt a little less scary now. Jamie closed his eyes and listened to the soft, steady purr. He was still hungry for more food, more hope, more kindness, but for tonight, this was enough. Before he drifted off to sleep, Jamie whispered one more promise to Whiskers. "I'll keep you safe, no matter what. We'll get through this together." Whiskers let out a sleepy meow, as if she believed him completely. Somewhere, a car horn sounded, and the city kept moving, unaware of the little boy and his kitten beneath the stars. But Jamie knew something had changed. Someone cared. Someone knew he was their Dot, and as the night grew darker, Jamie held on to that small, bright hope, the first real hope he'd felt in a very long time. Thunder rumbled overhead, shaking Jamie awake. For a moment, he didn't know where he was, but then he felt Whiskers curled against his chest and remembered everything. The cold ground, the food Mia brought, the promise he made. He sat up and glanced at the sky. Clouds rolled in fast, thick, and gray, swallowing the last hint of moonlight. Jamie's heart sank. "Looks like rain's coming, Whiskers," he whispered. The kitten mewed, burrowing deeper into his jacket. He hugged her close, trying to shield her from the wind that whipped through the empty playground. A sharp crack split the sky. Rain began to fall, gentle at first, then pouring down in heavy sheets. Jamie scooted further beneath the bench, but it wasn't enough. Water ran in rivers across the ground, soaking his shoes and creeping up his legs. He shivered, teeth chattering. Whiskers trembled, her tiny body pressed hard against him. Jamie tried to think of what to do. He looked around for better shelter, but all he saw were slides, swings, and cold metal. "Hang on, girl," he said, voice trembling. "We gotta move." He waited for a break in the rain, but the sky just kept roaring. Lightning flashed, and for a split second, Jamie saw the whole park lit up empty and lonely. He remembered his mom's voice, soft and gentle, singing him to sleep when he was small. That was before everything went wrong, before the shouting and the silence that followed. He missed her so much it hurt. "You'd know what to do, Mom," Jamie whispered, wiping his nose on his sleeve. "You always did." He forced himself to move, crawling from under the bench and into the downpour. The world was cold and wet, the grass already turning to mud. Jamie's fingers went numb as he clutched Whiskers and hurried toward the old maintenance shed at the far end of the playground. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. His shoes squished as he ran. Water splashed up his legs, and Whiskers let out a scared yell, but Jamie didn't stop. He ducked behind the shed, pressing his back to the door. It was locked, but at least the overhang kept most of the rain off. Jamie slid to the ground, hugging Whiskers inside his jacket. "It's okay," he whispered over and over. "You're okay. I got you." He looked up at the sky, letting the rain splash his face. He wondered if the world would ever feel safe again. Everything seemed so big, so wild, like they could be washed away and no one would ever know. He glanced down at Whiskers, who was still shaking, her eyes squeezed shut. Jamie rocked her gently. "It's just a storm. It'll pass," he promised, though he wasn't sure he believed it himself. For a long time, they just listened to the rain. The sound filled the world, drowning out everything else. Jamie's stomach growled, but he pushed the hunger away. Right now, staying dry mattered more. Lightning cracked again, so close that Jamie jumped. He remembered the stories his mom used to tell him about brave kids who faced storms and found their way home. He wished he could believe in stories like that again. Jamie wiped a tear from his cheek, hoping Whiskers didn't see. He wanted to be strong, for her if not for himself. As the worst of the storm passed, the rain softened. Jamie took a shaky breath. He peered out, watching the water wash away the dirt and footprints near the bench. "Guess nobody'll know we're there," he said quietly. "It's like we never existed." He looked down at Whiskers. She'd finally stopped shaking and looked up at him with wide, trusting eyes. Jamie smiled just a little. "We're survivors, you and me. We don't give up." He pulled the jacket tighter around them both. The world was quieter now, just the gentle drip of water and the distant sound of a siren. Jamie wondered what tomorrow would bring. He wondered if Mia would come back. He hoped so. For now, he let himself rest, holding Whiskers close. The storm had passed, at least for the moment, and Jamie felt a tiny flicker of hope. He whispered, "We'll find a way, I promise." Whiskers purred, her body warm against his heart, and Jamie closed his eyes, dreaming of better days and the sound of his mother's lullabies far, far away. Morning arrived gray and heavy, the world washed clean by last night's rain. Jamie blinked awake, his back sore from sleeping on cold concrete. Whiskers stretched, paws reaching out from under his jacket, and let out a tiny squeak. Jamie managed a tired smile. "Hey, sleepyhead," he whispered, rubbing her head gently. "You made it through the storm." He listened to the slow drip of water from the shed's overhang. Hunger gnawed at him, sharper now, but he forced himself to ignore it. The playground was empty except for a couple of birds hopping in the puddles. Jamie wiped his nose, pulled his knees to his chest, and waited, hoping Mia would show up soon. Voices carried from the sidewalk. Jamie tensed, peeking around the shed. He spotted a woman with a kind, round face and curly hair walking a big, golden dog. Beside her was Mia, bouncing along, her yellow backpack slung over her shoulder. Jamie shrank back, holding Whiskers tight. "Stay quiet," he whispered. Mia and the woman strolled around the park, stopping at benches and talking softly. The woman bent down, leaving a small plastic container and an umbrella on the bench where Jamie used to hide. She called out, her voice gentle, "If you're out here, please take this. You're safe. I run the animal shelter down the road." "I just want to help." Jamie's breath caught. Mia scanned the playground, her gaze landing on the shed for a moment. She didn't say anything but gave a tiny secret wave. The woman continued calling, her voice warm. "You're not in trouble. Whoever you are, you're not alone. My name's Mrs. Green. If you need anything, I'll be around." Jamie felt Whiskers shiver, but he stroked her back, whispering, "It's okay, she's not scary. She helps animals, like you." After a while, Mia and Mrs. Green walked to the bench and sat down. Mia fished in her backpack and pulled out a sandwich, breaking off a piece and laying it under the bench. Mrs. Green placed a bowl of water next to it. They talked quietly while the golden dog flopped down with a huff. Jamie's stomach growled. He watched the sandwich, torn between fear and need. Whiskers pawed at his chest, picking up on his anxiety. "Not yet," Jamie whispered. "Too many people." Minutes passed. Eventually, Mrs. Green stood, called her dog, and started walking. Away, Mia lingered, looking back toward the shed. She mouthed, "It's okay," before running to catch up. When the coast was clear, Jamie crept from behind the shed, keeping Whiskers bundled under his jacket. He darted to the bench, grabbed the sandwich and water, and hurried back to his hiding spot. He broke off a chunk for Whiskers, watching her eat with bright, hungry eyes. He read the note Mrs. Green had left. "If you need shelter or food, the door is always open. No questions asked. You can trust us." Jamie turned the words over in his mind. Trust? That was a big word. He wanted to believe it, but trust was dangerous. It meant letting people see you, and being seen had always led to trouble. He watched Mrs. Green and Mia cross the street. The golden dog barked, chasing a squirrel. Mia turned, searching the park one last time. Jamie almost called out, but the words stuck in his throat. He held Whiskers close. "What do you think?" he whispered. "Could we really trust her?" Whiskers purred, licking his hand, as if telling him to try. As the day wore on, Jamie noticed more people coming to the playground. He kept to the shadows, only venturing out when no one was watching. Each time, he found new bits of food left near the bench. A granola bar, a juice box, even a small packet of cat treats. Jamie realized Mia and Mrs. Green were watching out for them, even if they didn't know exactly where he was. He started to believe that maybe, just maybe, they meant what they said. As afternoon turned to evening, clouds gathered again, but the rain stayed away. Jamie fed Whiskers the last of the treats and whispered, "We're lucky. Most people don't care, but they do. Maybe we should go to the shelter." His mind raced with fear and hope, each thought battling the other. What if Mrs. Green called the police? What if his dad found out? But he looked at Whiskers, smaller and braver than anyone he knew, and decided he owed her more than a cold. Wet playground. The sun set behind the trees, painting the sky orange and pink. Jamie tucked Whiskers into his jacket and whispered, "Maybe tomorrow we'll be brave enough to go to Mrs. Green. Maybe we'll find out what a safe place feels like." As the world quieted down, Jamie listened to Whiskers purr and let a sliver of hope into his heart, a hope that somewhere, just a few blocks away, a safe place was waiting for them. The next morning, Jamie woke to the soft hum of the city outside. He felt Whiskers curled against his chest, her breathing slow and steady. For a moment, he let himself believe today might be different, maybe safer, maybe kinder. He slipped quietly from beneath the bench and stretched his stiff legs. The playground was already filling with people. Parents pushed strollers, kids ran laughing, and dogs barked as they played. Jamie kept low, sticking to the shadows, careful not to attract attention. Whiskers peeked out from his jacket, eyes wide as she watched the busy world. Jamie wanted to stay hidden, but Whiskers was restless. She wriggled free and darted out, chasing a butterfly across the grass. Jamie called after her, heart pounding. "Whiskers, come back." But the kitten didn't listen. She slipped between legs and sprinted toward the playground's entrance. Jamie jumped up, pushing through the crowd, shouting her name. "Whiskers, please, come back." People turned, but no one stopped to help. Jamie's chest tightened as he followed the kitten's path, weaving between joggers and parents. Whiskers disappeared into the bush near the edge of the park. Jamie crouched, peering into the greenery. "Whiskers?" he whispered, voice breaking. "Please, don't go." He moved carefully, searching every shadow and corner. The kitten was nowhere to be seen. Panic rose in Jamie's throat, making his vision blur. "Where are you, Whiskers?" Near the park entrance, Jamie overheard two women talking. One was the kind-faced Mrs. Green, and the other was Mia. They spoke quietly but urgently. "I'm worried about that kitten and the boy," Mrs. Green said. "We've left food and water, but they haven't come forward." Mia nodded. "I saw the boy once, but he ran away. I think he's scared. He needs help, but he won't trust anyone." Jamie's heart skipped. He wanted to call out, but fear held his voice hostage. He stayed hidden, listening. Mrs. Green continued, "We have space at the shelter, and I want to make sure Whiskers and the boy are safe. But first, he has to know we won't hurt him." Jamie swallowed hard, wishing he could believe her. He felt tears sting his eyes. "Whiskers!" he whispered again, desperate. Suddenly, a small meow broke through the noise. Jamie turned toward a cardboard box behind a nearby tree. He moved closer and saw Whiskers inside, her eyes wide but safe. He scooped her up, holding her tight. "Don't scare me like that," he said softly, brushing her fur. "You're the only friend I've got." But before he could slip away, Mrs. Green appeared, stepping carefully toward him. "It's okay," she said gently. "I'm not going to hurt you. You can come with me." Jamie froze, torn between running and trusting. Mia stepped up beside Mrs. Green and smiled softly. "We just want to help." Whiskers nuzzled Jamie's neck, and something inside him cracked. Maybe, for the first time, he could let someone in. Jamie took a shaky breath. "I don't want to go back," he whispered. "Home isn't safe." Mrs. Green nodded. "We'll make sure you're safe here, both of you." Jamie looked down at Whiskers, then back at Mrs. Green and Mia. His hands trembled as he made choice. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll come with you." As Jamie stepped toward the shelter, holding Whiskers close, he felt a fragile hope bloom in his chest. Maybe this was the start of something better. Maybe he wasn't alone anymore. Jamie's legs felt like lead as he followed Mrs. Green and Mia toward the shelter. Whiskers nestled against his chest, purring softly. The building loomed ahead, warm lights spilling out onto the wet pavement. It smelled like fresh hay and something sweet, and for a moment, Jamie forgot how scared he was. Inside, the shelter was quiet but welcoming. Volunteers moved softly, tending to cages and cleaning floors. Mrs. Green led Jamie to a small room with blankets and pillows. "This is your space," she said gently. "You can stay as long as you need." Jamie sank onto the blankets, exhaustion crashing down on him. Mia sat beside him, offering a shy smile. You did good coming here, she whispered. We just want to help. Jamie looked down at Whiskers, her eyes half closed, peaceful for the first time. He wiped a tear from his cheek. The weight of everything he'd been holding back was heavy. He took a deep breath. I'm sorry, Jamie began, voice trembling. I didn't want to run away, but home wasn't safe. My mom's gone. My dad, he yells a lot. I didn't want Whiskers to get hurt. I didn't want to be hurt. Mia reached out, placing a hand gently on his arm. It's okay to tell us. Jamie swallowed, then told him everything, the shouting, the doors slamming, the nights he cried alone. He spoke of the day he found Whiskers and how they became each other's only family. His voice cracked, but he kept going. Mrs. Green listened quietly, her eyes soft with understanding. When Jamie finished, she knelt down and looked him in the eye. You're very brave, Jamie, what you've been through. No child should ever have to face that alone. Jamie nodded, tears spilling freely now. I just wanted to keep her safe. I still want to. Mrs. Green smiled gently. We will keep you both safe. This is a place where you belong. You don't have to be afraid anymore. Mia handed Jamie a warm blanket. You're not alone now. We'll help you. For the first time in a long time, Jamie felt a weight lift from his chest. The truth was hard to say, but it was even harder to carry alone. Now he didn't have to. Whiskers curled against him, purring louder. Jamie held her close, whispering, We made it. We're safe. Outside, the world moved on, but inside that little shelter room, a boy and a kitten found the first peace they'd known in a long, long time. Jamie blinked slowly, feeling the warmth of the blanket around him and the soft weight of Whiskers on his lap. The shelter was quiet except for the gentle hum of a heater and the distant murmur of voices. For the first time in what felt like forever, Jamie wasn't afraid. Mrs. Green sat nearby, smiling gently. You did good coming here, Jamie. This is a safe place. Her voice was calm, like a soft hug. Jamie looked around the small room. Cages lined one wall, each holding a sleeping animal, dogs, cats, even a rabbit. They all seemed peaceful. It was strange to see so many creatures cared for, and it made Jamie wonder if he could belong too. Mia sat on the floor beside him, quietly stroking Whiskers. You don't have to hide anymore, she said softly. We'll take care of you. Both. Jamie wanted to believe her, but old fears tugged at his heart. What if someone comes looking for me? What if they take Whiskers away? Mrs. Green shook her head. No one will take you from here unless you want them to. You're safe. We'll make sure Whiskers stays with you. Jamie's eyes filled with tears. He hadn't known kindness like this before. The thought of losing Whiskers was unbearable. As the day went on, volunteers brought food and water. Jamie ate slowly, still unsure, but the warmth in his belly helped ease the ache inside. Whiskers stretched and explored, her tiny paws patting softly on the floor. Jamie whispered stories to her, stories about a boy and his kitten who found a new family. Whiskers purred as if she understood. That evening, Jamie lay on a soft blanket, staring up at the ceiling. For once, he felt calm. The shelter was quiet and safe, a place where he could finally rest. Mia came in with a coloring book and crayons. Want to draw with me? She asked. Jamie nodded. They colored pictures of sunny parks, warm homes, and playful kittens. For a little while, the shadows inside Jamie's heart softened. Mrs. Green checked on them before bed. You're brave, Jamie. We're here for you. Jamie smiled faintly. Holding Whiskers close, he whispered, Thank you. As he drifted to sleep, Jamie felt something he hadn't in a long time, hope. A hope that maybe, just maybe, this shelter was more than a building. It was a home. And here, with Whiskers and new friends, Jamie might finally be safe. Jamie's days at the shelter passed slowly but peacefully, yet deep inside, a storm still raged. Social workers had been called, and now Jamie faced meetings, questions, and the heavy weight of his past. It was the hardest part yet. Mrs. Green sat beside him one afternoon, her hand warm on his shoulder. "It's okay to be scared, Jamie. We're here to help." Jamie nodded, but the memories kept flooding back, the yelling, the slammed doors, the cold silence that followed. He hated talking about it, hated feeling small and broken. Yet he knew he couldn't run forever. One day, a social worker named Miss Parker came to visit. She was kind but firm. "Jamie, I want to help you, but I need to know the truth about what happened at home." Jamie's throat tightened. He looked down at Whiskers, who blinked up at him with trusting eyes. "My mom, she's gone. My dad, he wasn't kind." "I had to leave." Miss Parker nodded gently. "Thank you for telling me." "You're very brave." Jamie felt tears sting his eyes. For the first time, he didn't feel alone in his pain. Mrs. Green promised, "We'll do everything to keep you and Whiskers together." Mia visited often, bringing games and laughter. She told Jamie stories about her family and helped him imagine a future beyond fear. Slowly, Jamie began to believe he deserved more. Facing the past was terrifying, but with friends like Mrs. Green and Mia, Jamie found strength. He whispered to Whiskers one night, "We're safe now. No matter what, I'm not going back." And for the first time, Jamie believed it. The sun rose slowly over the shelter, casting warm light through the windows. Jamie woke with Whiskers curled beside him, their breath soft and steady. For the first time in a long while, he felt a calm he couldn't explain. Mrs. Green greeted him with a smile. "Good morning, Jamie. Today's a big day." Jamie wasn't sure what she meant until Mia appeared, holding a small box wrapped in a blanket. "This is for you and Whiskers," she said softly. Jamie opened it to find a collar with a shiny tag, Whiskers' name engraved, and Jamie's phone number on the back. "It's official," Mia smiled. "Whiskers belongs to you." Jamie's heart swelled. He looked at Mrs. Green, who nodded. "You two are family now. You have a place here with us." Tears welled up in Jamie's eyes as he whispered, "Thank you for everything." The shelter felt like home, no longer just a building, but a promise. Jamie knew the past couldn't be erased, but with Whiskers by his side and friends who cared, he could face whatever came next. Days passed with laughter and new routines. Jamie helped care for the animals, learning how to feed, groom, and comfort them. Whiskers grew playful and curious, chasing sunbeams across the floor. One evening, Jamie sat by the window, holding Whiskers close. He watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds. "We're safe now," he whispered. "I promise, Whiskers, no matter what, we'll stay together." Whiskers purred, pressing her head against his cheek. Jamie closed his eyes, feeling hope settle deep inside him. He didn't know what the future held, but for the first time, he wasn't afraid. This was home. For now and maybe, just maybe, forever. Did this story touch your heart? Give it a thumbs up, share it around, and drop your location in the comments.